Hang on. Hey everybody, Crypto Mentor 99. How you doing? I am back for my fourth cryptocurrency road trip, and this morning I could barely sleep last night. This morning I have the honor of having Amina Motala on, and I just want to say, Amina, thanks for your time, and I love your French accent right from the get-go.
Thank you. Actually, I feel very honored to be here talking with you. I know I mentioned I was a little nervous doing this, so I am.
So, full disclosure, in the social media world, Amina and I were talking a little bit during the pre-interview in a good way, in a healthy way, how kind of nutty it is, and you could connect with people. So I'm on my, or I was, I'm home now, fourth cryptocurrency road trip, and somewhere in the middle of the trip, Amina starts posting or liking some of my things, and I'm like, I don't have that many. I don't consider myself like an influencer, but I don't have that many followers on Twitter, and I don't even really care. I don't even know the number. But I said, Amina Motala, that's a new name. And then I friended her, and we friended each other, and then we started to, comment jokingly on the road trip. And then somehow or another, it's like, hey, let's do a Skype call and just talk. So that's what, if you're listening in, that's what Amina and I are going to do this morning. Just talk, right?
Yeah, and get to know each other because I love just the little bit that I'm learning about you. I love what you do. And what really got me was your video at the Federal Reserve. I'm sure you've heard this a lot. That was just like, what? What's he doing?
Yeah.
Love
Well,
it. It was awesome.
well, normally, and I don't want to act. So thank you. I don't want to act like it's hard work for me, but sometimes setting up these road trips, you get a lot of cancellations, which is fine. People's schedules change, and you're in one city, then they find out they gave you the wrong zip code, and then you want to kind of see, or I feel like you want to see cool historical places in the United States. And I'm not here to give you a banking education in the United States, but there's only 12 Federal Reserve banks in the United States.
Well,
So
I had no idea there was one in St. Louis, so that just brought awareness to me. I mean, and the fact that there were more than one. So
yeah, so there's 12, and I frankly didn't know that 2 or 3 weeks ago, Amina, when I started to prepare for the trip, and I'm like, you know what? On my first three road trips, I probably drove a little too far and I didn't get to enjoy the areas where I was in.
right,
So, again, not to talk about that for the next 30 minutes, but the first couple road trips, I kind of drove 6.5 hours a day, which after 2 weeks, that was brutal. I got to be honest with you.
yeah, that's a lot.
So this time I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go a shorter distance and do more interviews and just kind of catch some of the sights and sounds, if you will, of whatever
They were
area.
awesome. So what was your best day? Your most memorable
Oh
day?
gosh, okay. Actually, I'm a real people person. Like I love this. I mean, I enjoy
Mm,
this, but I would much rather be at your kitchen table with your family telling jokes and stuff than
yeah.
being so far away. So I got to be honest with you. I get an email from a guy in Rockford, Illinois that I did a video on, and his name's Colin. And he said, "Hey, come on over to my house," and yada yada yada. I'm like, okay. So I pull up in his driveway, and he comes out and he gives me a big greeting, and I walk inside, and you know his spouse is on the couch with the little baby, and then up from the stairs comes two little boys that are twins, and they're like 8 or 9 years old, and I give them a big hug, and we sat down and they ordered some pizza and we just talked. Again, it's
Yeah.
just that's what I like doing in real life. Again, I enjoy social media, but I talked with him, and it was kind of funny because, and I was joking with Colin about it. He's got really long hair, and just kind of the way he presents himself, you wouldn't think that he's such a wise and smart individual.
Yeah.
Um, but by trade, he was a nurse. So he was a nurse. He went through nursing school. And he had made, I don't even know how you do this, but he made a video game by himself in his spare time, just in his free time.
That's
And
awesome.
again, just a nice family guy. And so that was probably my first, or my, if I'm going to rate them, number one. Can I give you my number two memory on the crypto road trip? So in central Illinois, Bloomington, Illinois, and Normal, Illinois are two cities. So you just say Bloomington, Normal. And
Okay.
I met a YouTube influencer by the name of Silvertooth. And
Okay. To him.
yeah,
Yeah.
Silvertooth. So I'm from Chicago. Don't live there now, but Silvertooth always does, or usually does, his YouTube videos with the Chicago White Sox baseball hat on.
Right.
And he was one of the first few people that I saw on YouTube. Like, White Sox hat, I got to get a hold of this guy. So it took a few crypto road trips for his schedule to link up with mine. But again, the coffee shop where we met, I walk in the door and he's standing right there. And it was just like, we just give each other a big hug. And he's like, dude, how you doing? I'm like, man, it's so good to see you. It's just
That's awesome.
so.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I love, I guess I won't say this four more times, but I love social media. But there's a part that I'm glad that we're, communicating, talking, sharing. But man, I want to rub shoulders and
Yeah.
look at you in the eye and, hug your kids and, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
I hear ya. That's why I'm so looking forward to when I Texas, where I can meet
yeah,
all the people that I'm connected with online and on social media. It's such a difference to meet somebody and feel their energy
yeah,
and just be there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So I can understand your
yeah. So,
excitement.
so could I ask you a question? We'll just kind of
Sure.
go back and forth. So I'm not asking you this because you're a woman, because I always ask everybody this. So
Okay.
tell us how, when, where, why you first either heard about cryptocurrency, experienced it, and why are you doing what you're doing now, like on Twitter, and like what kind of sparked a fire in you, Amina?
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, for me, I think the very first time I ever heard of Bitcoin, which was when it first was, I guess, put on the internet years ago, I saw something about it and I knew right away. It's like a little voice in me just said, "This is it."
Wow.
I don't know why, but it did, and I don't know what "this is it" meant, but I knew this is it. So I always wanted to buy it and invest in it, and I didn't take it seriously enough just because I didn't understand the whole idea of how to buy it, and not having any kind of tech background or knowledge. I was even new to the internet as a single mom too, and going back to school. I did go back to school, so I was over the years kept saying a little voice in the back of my head, "Oh, you got to get to an ATM machine, you got to go buy some Bitcoin," and
Wow.
I was a serious voice too, but I never listened to it. I was so busy in my world as a single parent and
Sure.
a lot on my plate. I had a lot going on,
Hmm.
so and it was all part of the plan, and it was the way it is. I sold finally my house. That's what I was saying to you earlier. I lived on the water, and I sold the property, and it freed up finances and time and
Sure.
all sorts of things for me. Kids are older, and then I thought, let's go get some of this Bitcoin, and then the journey really began.
So were you so give me a little bit of a timeline. Was that like 2010, 11, 12, 13? Like, do you remember?
When I first decided to actually go buy it,
Yes.
it was 2017. It was August 2017.
Oh my God.
And I waited that long actually, and yeah, I just started learning, and it was hard too because I had to do a lot of research. I watched a ton of videos. I started getting nervous. My stomach was twisting. Like oh my God, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. What is this? But it just intrigued me to keep moving forward and learning, because it
Yeah.
really piqued my curiosity, and which makes me want to learn. And of course, all the self-doubt comes in.
Yeah.
Oh, what am I doing? I don't have any technology background. I don't know. I stayed at home raising my kids. I'm back in the school working with kids in the school, but still, there's a lot of self-doubt, and I overcame that, and then found a meetup. I started co-organizing a meetup with somebody else, just because, like you said earlier, I love being with another person and meeting and learning and all of that. So we just found a place downtown. People would show up. We'd gather around a table in a restaurant. With so much chatter going on and excitement. And that was just before that bull run, and so that was a very exciting period. So we were meeting like all the time, and then eventually the other gentleman and I decided we were going to go our own way, because we just had a different way of doing our meetups. And location-wise, I was given a place at Collab Space, which is where Emil,
Okay.
guy at another meetup, had met me at Innovation Center in Bayview Yards, and he said, "Oh, you do a meetup? I have this building, Collab Space. We have office space. You're welcome to one of the teaching rooms for your meetups." And it went from there. So ever since then, which has been about over a year, I've been doing my meetups bi-weekly there, and he's been so generous to give me the space to do it. So, and I've met so many people, including Bitcoin Ben now, and working on the world tour. And so the journey has been fabulous, and
Whoa.
I'm also part of different projects. And it just doesn't stop. It's very, very fun.
So what you just said, this is what I like to do when I interview people, and even though we're kind of interviewing each other. So let's go back 5 or 7 minutes, okay? So I
Sure.
just want everybody to make sure that they get what Amina said. So, and again, if there's any errors in what I'm repeating back to you, tell me. So Amina is up in Canada, and she hears about Bitcoin, and she starts to learn about it, and she gets a little nervous. Should I do it? Doubt sets in. Then she actually buys some, and then again, this is I'm sort of paraphrasing. I'm really paraphrasing. She
All right.
says to herself, "Self, let's go do a meetup." So, do I have it right so far?
Yes.
I mean, so you go from single mom, Bitcoin, I don't know what I'm doing, I could be crazy, to doggone it, I'm gonna go downtown and start doing cryptocurrency meetups. Do I got it right so far?
Yeah, I'm going to change the world. That's where it's come to.
Okay. And how did you, just for the, maybe the first time viewer that's just kind of viewing this video for the first time, that maybe like you, or, male or female, like how did you, just the basic 101 steps, did you, you know, like what was your fire, or maybe you wouldn't even describe it as a fire, Amina, but what was your rationale for, hey, I'm going to go do a meetup? Did you even know what a meetup was at that point?
I did know what a meetup was. I actually went on the meetup site looking for a Bitcoin or crypto
Oh,
meetup.
okay.
And I
Okay.
did see some there, but they weren't active anymore.
Okay.
So I was very disappointed, actually, because I didn't think to organize one. That's not something that entered my mind at all.
Sure.
And because I was looking for that help. And then when somebody approached me, because I just wrote it in a discussion in one of them, is there anybody doing a meetup or would like to? And somebody jumped on that discussion and said, hey, yes, let's meet this week and start one together. And that's how it went. And then when he had to go away for about 6 weeks, so I took over the meetup just by myself for those 6 weeks. And in that time, I realized that it would be better to have that location in the West End, where it's closer to where I live. And that's when I thought, oh, I should do one in this location. He does one in the other location because he talked a little bit more about the technical stuff.
Okay.
So it worked. It really worked well. And then, yeah, I had the confidence to just keep going. And the members are fantastic. I mean, they come in. This is not my meetup. This is everybody.
Right,
so
right.
About sharing. And it's great. And I have people do presentations. So it works really well. And I'm really happy. And I just keep going. And I to me, that's the one thing that I won't leave and I won't discontinue. I will continue the meetup.
So now don't be embarrassed to answer this question truthfully, and then maybe I'll shut up and you could ask me something. So up in Canada, and again, don't be bashful. So would you consider yourself, well, you probably don't, but you probably are. Would you consider yourself, like, are you known in your area like, hey, that's the cryptocurrency lady that does the meetups, or you got to find her on Twitter because she does these really cool meetups, and like, do you kind of have a reputation in a good way up there? Like,
I honestly don't know. Like,
okay.
I do know we're a high tech community.
Okay.
And there are events that I go to, and I'm recognizing more people. I'm recognizing me more. So, we are a small community, the crypto community, compared to the actual, there's a million people.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I have no idea. I just hope it's positive and that there's that willingness to join or listen at least, and lend an ear to a new way, to a new world. And yeah, so it is what it is. I have no idea.
Well, I guess I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say this because I want to honor you. On a couple of days ago, and again, I don't mean to embarrass you, but I just want to put you on a little pedestal, okay? I saw something on Twitter that I don't know what it is. Like, I'm registered on it, but I don't know what it is, and I'm a little embarrassed. But it's like every week it shows your like statistics or something.
Summall, yeah.
Yeah, Summall, right.
Your mention range, yeah.
And I looked at it the other day because your name popped up on my feed.
Right.
And I don't even know how to say it, so I'll say it the best way I think that I know how to communicate it. But I think your analytics imprint was like 450,000 people. Or I'm like, oh my gosh, this lady should.
Yeah, I was surprised too.
I'm like, this lady should be the president or something. Like,
oh, come on, others was way more than that.
But that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's amazing that we can reach that many people. It's an honor, actually, to reach that many, and so you want to be so responsible and know that you have that impact and can spread only good things, and that's how I think when I do this. But I did have a lot more the week before because I interviewed John McAfee. So
you did? Oh my! Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I have a million reach because of him. It was crazy.
Was it hard to get an interview with him?
I don't know, but I tweet on his Twitter every now and then, and I have for 6 months, and he responds to everybody. He's amazing. And one time he did something, it was a bit of a joke, where he was offering this bodyguard in Spain to his female crypto followers. So I looked at the chat, and there was no females, and I said, hey, I might as well try. So I just said something, I don't know what, and he said, I'm going to DM you. And I said, well, you can't. You have to follow me. And he said,
right.
Done. So he followed me and DM'd me, and he said, okay, send me your phone number. He's going to call you. So then I thought, okay, is he for real? Like, is this real? And I went along with it. I said, this has got to be a joke. So I went along with it. And I was at work, and then he kept DMing me. Did he call you? Did you send your number? I said, I'm going to. I'm at work, but I'll be home soon. And So anyway, we exchanged numbers, and I got a phone call 5 minutes later, and I was looking at my phone thinking, oh my gosh, this is really happening. And this man was on the other end of the phone, and he said, hi, and he introduced himself, and it was one of John McAfee's personal assistants or guys or team members. And he said, it's not the bodyguard, but it's me. And we were joking back and forth. And then we laughed it off. He said, would you like to speak to Mr. McAfee? And I said, I'd love to. So he got on the phone, and we had a little small chat, and we laughed it off. He said, what else can I do at 72? I'm bored. He said, this is fun for me. And it was fun. It was all fun. And so then when I tweeted on his Twitter, I just said to him, like recently, I said to him, I would love to speak with you and Mrs. McAfee and give Mrs. McAfee that light to, that limelight, I guess. And he agreed. I think he loved the idea. So we made it work. We made it happen. And she was nervous, and I told her, so am I. I'm new at this. But we set it up. They were awesome. They were really gracious. And what happened, it was really interesting, because what happened was we did it in about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we had technical difficulties. They weren't on their boat, they were on land, and maybe the Wi-Fi wasn't working well or something. Sure. I don't know. Yeah. So we had some technical difficulties, and he said, let me go to Skype. So we go to Skype, and he Skyped me. We were doing this. We started the interview. I didn't use Skype. I don't think either of us realized, because we had spent so much time trying to figure out the other way, that by the time we got this working, we just went with it. And at the end, neither one of us realized we were not recording. So we didn't get that video or that interview recorded. And it was a really good interview. And it's okay, because for me it's okay. I had my phone off to the side because I had this thought, and I get these little thoughts that in case it doesn't work, I'll have it recorded on my phone. So I have it from my phone. On the computer, and I recorded it. But we were all disappointed, because we knew we had some great moments in that interview. All three of us did. And we had such a great connection. And anyway, they were so great to agree to do another one. And we did one at midnight that night. So by that point, I think John had a few drinks, and Janice was a lot more relaxed, and there was a bit of laughter and jokes in that interview, but some great, again, moments that I could have him say in the video, and that's what happened. So it was a real pleasure.
Yeah, I just thought of this now as you were talking, and again, I'm not trying to match your story and go, well, hey, I know John McAfee too, but a couple months ago, his wife Janice, I believe I've got this right, she sent me a friend request, and I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, I'll go for it. And, she actually commented on a few, maybe one or two or three, I'm like, wow, like, why would she even have the time to comment? And then one of his bodyguards, I think one or two around that same time friended me, and I'm going, you know what, at the end of the day, like, we're all just people,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you've got this, that, and the other thing, but again, I think you kind of said it, if I heard you right. He said, John said something like, I'm 72 and I get bored sometimes, and like, yeah, we're still people at the end of the day, no matter where we're at.
You're absolutely right about that. And I love your story, by the way, that she connected with you. They are real, in my opinion, and they are human. We're human. And TV and media will make it seem bigger than it is, and make it seem in a way that's illusionary. It can. So taking that aside, and like that's why these real moments we're having are so great, in my opinion. And getting to know, say, for instance, the McAfees, felt very real, and they seem like just regular human beings with me. He does have some great insight to share, and she had to hear her point of view was fascinating because I don't get to hear her.
Yeah.
So,
well,
you're right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying you're so right about how we are all very much human, and we are all very much connected.
Yeah, just maybe this is a little off the subject, but I want to bring it back to John and Janice. So in a couple towns away, there's a very old man. And this old man used to be a professional football coach in the National Football League years ago. And I don't see him that much anymore, but there was a season in my life where my wife taught his granddaughter art lessons. Okay. So they would come to our house for the hour art lesson. My wife gives art lessons. And it's kind of funny because you would think that all he wants to talk about was football, like, oh, tell me about, the Super Bowl. But he really he was very polite, but he really had a distaste for talking about football. He wanted to talk, the only thing he wanted to talk about was his grandchildren. So my point is, with John and Janice, you've got this social media. But then, I'm sorry, not social media, just like, media, they're not friendly or this and that. But then, you get them on a Skype call. And again, I'm repeating myself, they're just human beings like you and I.
Of course.
Yeah.
And lovely. And so lovely and genuine. And such goodness.
Yeah.
Truly, I thought and felt it. Such goodness.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Beautifully. The art. What's the art that you were taught or you were learning?
Well,
you mentioned the art.
Well, I actually met my wife in high school, and she went to art school in Chicago. And, when we were raising our kids, she would just do like freelance projects if someone wanted, like a portrait, watercolor, charcoal, acrylic, whatever.
She does watercolor? Is that her medium?
Well, again, she wouldn't say that, but she's kind of good in a lot of different areas. She doesn't, I mean, it's not like we have an art gallery upstairs or anything, but now, we have our hands full a little bit with 5 grandkids in town, but she loves to draw. And there was a few seasons, because we're 61, there's been a few seasons of our life where she would give private art lessons to various people, and she loved it. But
oh, how wonderful! I took art lessons from my neighbor when I used to live in the country, Meta Baker, great artist.
Cool.
And actually, I did that one there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. I do oil on canvas. But it's fun. It's fun, and I didn't know how to paint, so
yeah,
it's nice to explore these things and find out.
So you're going to the meetup in Texas in 3 weeks, is it? Okay.
Yeah, April 6th.
Are you excited?
Am I excited? Yes. Very excited, yes. I've never been to Texas, and Ben describes the area in Blanco as a very beautiful countryside with lots of hills, and so just the venue sounds beautiful. And of course, I'm going to a crypto meetup, my passion and my people. So very excited.
You don't need to disclose this on the Skype interview, but are you going to the crypto meetup like before or after the event, or?
Yeah, I am, and I'm going to be there on the Friday.
Okay.
So hopefully I can get in there and help out a bit if I can in the afternoon. And I know Bix Weir is doing an event that evening. It's a charity event.
Right.
I believe the proceeds are going to Coin Lisa's charity for Mighty Me. It's a charity, I believe.
Yes.
So I will be going to that, and I'm very excited to hear Bix sing. First of all, he's an incredible folk singer, and yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And then Sunday I'll be leaving. I'll be leaving the area, so coming back home. And it's
you
all
and,
day Saturday, the event.
okay, have you and Lisa ever Skyped together or interviewed or,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, we have. She's great. I really relate with her actually in many ways, and I listen to her in other videos too. And very excited. I'm excited to be her mom
oh
too.
gosh, Crypto Nana, yeah, her, yeah, I think that's her, yeah. Well, she was another one, or both of those two were similar to you in relationship to on this road trip at the beginning. I'm like, Litecoin Lisa, again, I don't purport to know everybody. I'm like,
Right.
Litecoin Lisa, Crypto Nana. And then one day or one evening, I was in the hotel. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to, find out what's going on Twitter. And she was interviewing her mother, right? Like
Right.
on a live stream. And I got on there. I'm like, hey, what's up? And then I guess somewhere along the line, we started following each other on a Twitter. And then that led to a guy on the live stream going, where are you at? And I said, well, I'm in Bloomington, Illinois. And he's like, well, I'm like 30 minutes west of you. Let's meet tomorrow. So I met, and you'll meet him. I met, this is so funny. So the next day I drove and met and had brunch with Clint Westwood.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
so, two knuckleheads were taking pictures, doing videos, and we're like, again, who would think that
That's
I could be
awesome.
on a live stream and you're 30 minutes away and the next day we get together. But he was another charming man, younger family guy, and it was just
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
just
I look forward to meeting Clint. I love his content. I love his videos that he puts out.
yeah,
His
he's
rambles
something
that he
else.
goes.
So he's
Yeah.
another so Amina, he's another like new person like you, Litecoin
Yeah.
Lisa, Crypto Nana, Silver Tooth, and I tell people my crypto family just it grows every day. It just
Yeah.
so
It's a beautiful thing. I love it.
so if someone wants to get a hold of you for the right reasons, can I post your Twitter account in the bottom of the description box below when I post the video, if that's okay?
Yes, you can. Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. And
That
then
crowdfunding's one. Yeah.
if someone again, we didn't talk about this in a pre-interview and you could think about it and then kind of give me an answer later, but if someone hears your accent and says, well, wait a minute, I'm in Canada, I could be 5 minutes away from Amina, I could be an hour, and I'm interested in her meetups, could they just contact you on Twitter and you could figure that out instead of giving it public information? Or
They could. They could find me on Twitter, and they can on my Twitter handle. It does show my meetup.
Okay.
Right. As well. I
Okay.
think there's a link there for my meetup.
Okay.
It's blockchain and Bitcoin Ottawa on the meetup site.
Okay.
So, and I run them every 2 weeks. I try to run them every 2 weeks. Sometimes
Okay.
it goes 3 weeks, but definitely, yeah, I would welcome others to come in.
Because someone could literally be
Exactly.
5 or 10 minutes away. Someone sent me a direct message this morning, and
Right.
they're like, he said, oh yeah, I didn't know that you were on your cryptocurrency road trip. I just caught the last 2 days. And I said, well, direct message me where you live, and the next road trip, I'll get together. And then he direct messaged me, Amina, he's 10 minutes from my house.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm like,
Look at that.
so I haven't gotten back to him because we were going to do this interview. And I'm like, dude, we could have lunch tomorrow if you want,
Seriously, yeah.
So that's the reason.
Exactly. That is a great thing to say because that's what I think of. I think, there could be someone just down the road from me that
Yeah, I mean,
maybe we're connected somehow and don't even know it, right? So I just want to say, too, this T-shirt I'm wearing, Buns Official, they're out of Toronto, and they're really cool.
Okay.
It's really cool. So they have a site where you can get on. It's kind of like Kijiji. I don't know if you've heard of Kijiji, but it's a trading site. So you can sell any item that you want, any household item, anything. So Buns, it's the same sort of idea, but you can use your Buns crypto tokens to buy with, and you can also there are some stores or restaurants that will accept funds as well. So you just look it up in your area and you see if anyone's honoring the funds platform.
So Amina, would the website be like buns.com maybe, or?
I'm pretty sure it is. I had it up there just a minute ago.
Because I'll post that underneath your Twitter account, if that's okay.
You can, sure, absolutely. I mean, and just I had the T-shirt, so I thought I'd mention it.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. It's just something where somebody could look up in their neighborhood, in their area, and see if anyone's honoring the funds or trading anything. And again, it's helping you use cryptos. So,
wow.
Kind of cool.
So,
yeah.
I've got to run in a little bit. Would you do me a favor by encouraging someone out there, man, woman, child, or under 21 or whatever, who may be at the beginning of their cryptocurrency journey, and again, like you back in the day, a little bit nervous, like, am I nuts? Am I, my parents going to kill me? Or, I probably shouldn't have said that. That's, in this day and age, that probably happens. I'm sorry. I delete. But what would you say to them? Like, man, I mean, this lady, like, she's the way I am, but I'm afraid. I don't know, like, what next step to take. Like, what would you, don't mean to put you on the spot, but what advice would you give to that person, maybe?
That's a very good question. Because I think there's a lot of people like that either have that first thought or second thought and don't take action behind it. So you really need to take some action behind what it is you want to invest in or understand better. And the best thing to do is either reach out to in your community, like a meetup, for instance, and get to one, or even reach out online to that person to start that conversation. And it's important to, there's a lot of negativity too from other people who don't understand or don't want to know or just whatever, for whatever reason. So it's really important to go within yourself and listen to yourself and trust that and act on that. That is a very important step to take in anything we do, actually. So really trust yourself and go within yourself, even though you have mom or dad who are good, who love you, who want the best for you. But it's even for my children, I tell them, you have to go within yourself and trust yourself. And I have that as a mother to want to tell them, do it this way, do it that way. It's a natural thing we do with our kids. But we do all have to go within and trust what is right for us and act on it. So there's a lot of things out there to connect with and people if we go to the right sites like MeetUps and other platforms to connect with and ask questions. Definitely ask questions. Keep asking questions. Don't be afraid to ask a question. They're so important. It's how it connects you to the next step, perhaps.
That's good. Yeah, I did a short video just along that line, and then I'll close. Along that line, I did a video a while back, and the title was something like, "Be nice to crypto newbies," because I used to be one not that long ago,
Right.
And I was pleasantly surprised, I must admit. People were so encouraging on Twitter about, I mean, everybody doesn't like to ask a lot of questions and like, well, they're going to think I'm stupid. And I know this sounds so simple, but the more questions I asked on Twitter, the more encouragement I got to ask more. And I'm like, man, these people are super nice. Like, they're not going, oh my gosh, I gave you that answer last week. Why are you asking the same question? I found that by and large, 99.9999, everyone really, really, really helpful and supportive. So that was my experiences. I mean, I'm still a crypto newbie, but people were very sweet and kind to me. Really.
Yeah, it's awesome. People really are. And the more you see it that way and think that way, the more you'll receive it that way. So,
yeah. Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing. I just want to mention too.
Sure.
So the Texas meetup is April 6th in Blanco, Texas. It's from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's a great activity event for families. You know, bring the kids. It's inexpensive, and you get a wealth of education because a lot of influencers are going to be there, and a lot of activities as well, set in an old west town. So very cool venue. This town is a set that was actually used in movies too, and TV series. So it's really, really fun atmosphere. The old west meets cryptocurrencies.
Oh, that's
And,
awesome.
it's awesome. So I just wanted to mention that. I'm also part of a team with CoinLotto.com. CoinLotto is the first international crypto lottery that helps to raise adoption. So it's a really neat platform that brings people in to help with adoption and learning and education with that as they get into the coin lottery. And it's a free lottery. It's different than the most
lotteries
that we know. They actually use real machines. So I just wanted to quickly say that because it's all things to help with adoption and education. And I like them, and I've joined their team because of those reasons. So wanted to mention that as well. And they're not live yet, but they should be live hopefully by the end of the month. We're hoping. So.
Sure, yeah.
And what else? That was about it, I think. So there's a few things I'm working on, and just very exciting, very exciting.
Well, listen, I'm going to get back in touch with you in about, again, I'm going to mark my calendar, and we'll be talking on Twitter, I'm sure, but I'm going to mark my calendar, if you don't mind, Amina, for like 30 to 45 days from now, and let's do it again if that's okay.
Sure, I would love to. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having me on today.
Well, no, thanks for suggesting it on the road trip. And like I said, I was up early. I'm like, okay, I got it. I got to get the setup because I love my wife of 38 years. Mrs. Crypto Mentor likes to rearrange the furniture when I'm gone.
Yeah.
So in our basement here, she kind of move some stuff. I'm like, oh, I got to get downstairs and set everything up. Not that it's real fancy, but I'm just like, I got to get down there. And she had to run to go do errands. But no, I honor you. Thank you for, no pun intended, waving the crypto banner up in Canada and learning and, moving past your doubts and going, you know what, I can do this, So, yeah, thanks again. And we will definitely, Amina, be back in touch. Okay.
You'll have to do a road trip up to Canada and get to a hockey game up here.
Oh, that'd be cool. Thanks so much. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.